here at New Day are always looking for great books to read. We know you're a reader as well, so we asked the King County Library System to let us know what's new this spring. Please welcome back Librarian Emily Calkins. It's good to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So you have 5 great suggestions. Let's dive right in. The first one is You Think It, I'll Say It by Curtis Sittenfeld.
Yeah, so this is a collection of short stories. Sittenfeld is a great writer. She's really observant, and so she writes these characters who feel like real people. They're interesting, they're flawed, but you can't help kind of like relate to them and root for them anyway. And this is a collection that feels really timely. So the first story and the last story both reflect on the 2016 election in some ways, and there's stories that touch on social media and celebrity, but there's also sort of like timeless themes like motherhood and parenting and marriages that are falling apart. Yeah, so it's
I like essays and short stories. So I think that's kind of a fun way to read if you're just going to get a few minutes at a time to read something. The Merry Spinster by Mallory Ortberg.
Yes, so this is more short stories, but in terms of tone and topic, they could not be more different. The last pick is all sort of realistic. These are retellings of fairy tales and folk tales with a very strange and dark spin. So there's a retelling of Jacob wrestling the angel that's sort of like an administrative report.
Oh my gosh.
And there's a retelling of the Velveteen Rabbit that's like the creepiest thing I've read in ages.
Really? So is it sort of a thriller genre, or how would you describe it?
No, it really feels like fairy tale, but it's very sort of surreal and sort of strange. Readers might know Ortberg from The Toast, which is a website, now defunct, but was really wonderful. So it's just very playful, but in a very strange, unsettling way.
Read that before the sun goes down. A False Report, A True Story of Rape in America by T. Christian Miller.
So this is nonfiction, a difficult topic, but a really wonderful read. It's true crime. It opens with a young woman in Linwood actually calling the police to report that someone had broken into her home and raped her. Within the week, she had recanted the story, and they had charged her with false reporting. But you find out over the course of the book that actually it was true, and the man went on to commit a series of rapes outside of Denver in suburban Colorado.
Do we find out why she recanted?
Yeah, so it's...
Don't spoil it. I just want to know if we find out.
Yes, you do find out, and you get a lot of information on the investigation, the incredible police work that went into catching this guy, and then the reporting is really wonderful. The authors won a Pulitzer Prize, actually, for the reporting that turned into this book.
That is very interesting. Okay, Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi.
Yes, so this one is young adults.
You know how I love a good YA.
I know. This is a love story. It's about a young woman who moves to college for the first time. She's out from under her mom's shadow, and her like fun-loving, wonderful roommate introduces her to her roommate's uncle, Sam, who's really just a couple years older than them. And Penny, who's the main character, and Sam sort of start texting each other. They kind of become each other's emergency contact, and they develop this really close relationship. But Jude, the roommate's one rule is, my friends can't date my uncle. Oh. So it's just a really lovely, funny, sort of heartbreaking, but ultimately hopeful story about two people finding each other and finding themselves. Fans of John Green or Rainbow Rowell will love this one.
We'll love that one.
Yeah.
And The Liar's Girl by Catherine Ryan Howard.
So if you have been tracking thrillers at all, you know that Girls was a big trend.
Yes.
So the new big trend is Liar. So I like this one because it's right in the middle. It's about a young woman who, when she's a freshman in college, her first boyfriend, her first true love, Will, is arrested and convicted of a series of murders near their campus. So she flees the country. She moves to the Netherlands and hasn't been back for 10 years. Well, 10 years later, the police show up at her door. There's been a new murder, and Will is claiming that he knows something. He's in a mental institution, and he won't talk to anyone but her. So she has to go back to Dublin to revisit this horrible time in her life and figure out, is this a copycat? Was he wrongly convicted, or what's going on? It's just unputdownable. I read it in 2 sittings.
Really?
Yes, it's a great mystery thriller, if you like.
Interesting, and that sounds like something that would make a perfect movie, right?
Yes.
Just, as you were describing that, I'm casting it in my head.
Yes, and it's got a lot about this. It's set in Dublin, so it's got a lot about Ireland and a great setting.
Ooh, I think I'll start there.
Yes.
How did you make these choices? What do you look for when you're recommending to a broad-ranging audience?
Oh gosh, it's always hard to narrow it down because I read so much and there are so many great books out there. So I always look for just a variety. You know, I want to have something that's serious and something that's fun. I try to pick authors that people maybe haven't heard of before and some that are a little bit more familiar. I like things with a local connection, so a False Report has that tie to Linwood.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. Thank you. The Mary Spinster, A False Report, Emergency Contact, and The Liar's Girl. Everybody's going home with a copy of those books today, so please enjoy. Thank you so much.